the steps she needed to take to sense a semblance of safety. She grabbed her phone, but the useless black screen was a stark reminder that the storm was not just outside. It was inside, too, severing her ties to the world beyond those four walls. The knock shifted again, now inhabiting the front door, loud and deliberate, as if demanding entrance. Her heart felt like a drum thrumming violently in her chest, the sound echoing in her ears. With a sudden burst of courage, Sarah picked up a nearby kitchen knife, gripping it tightly in her hand, the metal cool against her clammy palm. It wasn't much against whatever lurked in the dark, but the act of arming herself grounded her amidst the surreal chaos. Just then, a shuffling sound danced across the porch, drawing her attention. Straining to hear over the storm, Sarah held her breath, and then came the creak of floorboards, slow, deliberate, as though her unseen visitor was tiptoeing through her home. Fear gnawed at her insides, unveiling a stark image of a shadow creeping in, searching for her, relishing her terror. She forced herself to stay still, stretching her ears to catch every set up a series of distractions. A candle flickered at the end of the coffee table, one she had been saving for a special occasion. She knocked it over, allowing wax to pool across the floor and create a slick surface that would send the intruder sprawling if he rushed in her direction. Next, she grabbed a decorative vase and rolled it down the hallway, its clatter echoing sharply against the wooden floors. As she tucked into the shadows again, she heard the intruder stir.
"What was that?"
he called, his voice now dripping with irritation. Fueled by both fear and determination, Sarah breathed deeply, reminding herself that she wasn't just fighting for her life, she was reclaiming her home. The vase roll had worked. His footsteps shifted toward the noise, and Sarah seized her opportunity. She dashed towards the door leading to the basement, but her heart sank as she heard him approach. She needed to act quickly. The basement harbored many dark corners, perfect for hiding, but also potential traps if she wasn't careful. As she opened the door, the damp, musty air wrapped around her like a cloak, and she slipped inside, fighting to quiet the sound of her ragged breaths. Just as she settled into the shadows, she heard the creaking of the floorboards above her. His footsteps reverberated against the walls, but he didn't follow her into the depths. Instead, the heavy silence was punctuated by his mocking voice.
"You think you can outsmart me? I know this house better than anyone."
Her mind raced. Sarah leaping forward into the attic. The storm lashed viciously against the roof, drowning out the sinister laughter that had been her constant companion. In that sacred space filled with dust and forgotten memories, Sarah scoured for anything she could use, her fingers brushing against old boxes. There it was, a broken piece of wood, jagged and sturdy. It might not have been ideal, but it would have to do. With the intruder's footsteps echoing closer, Sarah steadied herself. As he burst through the attic door, the light flickered erratically, momentarily bathing him in an ethereal glow, his face twisted with triumph.
"You thought you could hide forever?"
His arrogance only stoked her resolve.
"I won't be your victim,"
She spat, brandishing the wood. The confrontation was electric. Adrenaline coursed through her veins. He surged forward, but Sarah was ready. With a swift move, she lunged and slashed at him, catching him off guard. The intruder stumbled back, pain flickering across his features as he regained his balance. Heart racing, she seized the moment and dashed for the window, but not before he lunged at her again, fingers grasping wildly. With a final exertion of will, she shoved the jagged wood into his shoulder, stunning him enough that she burst through the small attic window. The storm greeted her, cool and relentless, as rain pelted her face. She climbed over the windowsill and dropped to the ground below, her body colliding with the damp earth. The world outside felt alive, wild, and chaotic, just like her spirit. She scrambled to her feet, glancing back at the house where her nightmares had taken root. The intruder's enraged shout echoed through the air, propelling her forward. Racing against the storm, the adrenaline pushed her faster, drowning out all thoughts of fear and pain. As she burst into the rain-soaked night, relief washed over her. Lightning illuminated her path, guiding her as she ran through the torrential downpour, her heart finally lighting with the promise of freedom. She had escaped. Her resolve would see her through, alive against the odds, as the storm raged on behind her.